Hello everyone, this is your friend and astrologer Gretchen Hidell, and I'm here going over some things that are very important to us throughout 2022 going into 2023, and I want to talk about the nodes of the moon. Now, I've done previous broadcasts on the nodes of the moon before, and it's always gotten a lot of attention and people that are interested in this topic, and they are in fact very, very important to us, and I want to go over why they're important, what's going on with them. So stay tuned. I'm going to be going over all of that and getting into some detail. You might even want to get a pen and paper because I'm going to be throwing out a lot of important dates that are coming up this year of 2022, and also some past dates so you can do some homework in your own life if you have an interest in astrology. So basically what happened this week in January here, this week, January 18th, 2022, is the nodes of the moon have changed. Now, what do I mean by nodes of the moon? The nodes of the moon are not actually planets, okay? So they're more mathematical sort of points in a chart, and it's basically what's on the horizon at the time of the moon, and they move along the ecliptic lines, okay? However, they're very, very important to us astrologers because they're something that we can use as a tool for prediction, what's going to be happening in the world, in your chart, and all those types of things. And so the nodes of the moon are very important to know, not only in your personal chart, but even just collectively to kind of get a vibe for what's going on. So basically what's been happening with the nodes of the moon are that the north node, there's sort of two sides, north node and the south node of the moon. And the north node of the moon for the last couple of years has been moving through Gemini, which automatically means the south node of the moon is moving through Sagittarius. The nodes of the moon always move retrograde, so backwards, so that's kind of an unusual thing. They're always going backwards. And then the other thing about it is that they're always opposite from each other. Now, in astrology, we like to say that the north node of the moon is our, I'm going to use a big word now, it's our destiny. Where the south node of the moon is kind of where we're coming from, either in this lifetime or even in a past lifetime. The nodes of the moon are very important to know about. I'm going to keep saying nodes of the moon, so hang in there. And they're called a lot of different things, by the way. True node, north node, all these different mean node. Even there's Vedic astrology words that we use, which are Rahu and Ketu. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they're called different things, these nodes of the moon. And I want to sort of show you visually, because I know sometimes these things it's sort of hard to conceptualize. I want to show you visually. This is the chart for today, okay, in January of 2022. And here we see the north node of the moon. They just moved into Taurus, the north node of the moon, this week. And the south node of the moon, which is always opposite of Taurus, is actually south node of the moon is in Scorpio. So because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite of each other. And so that's basically what they look like. So if you want to look up in your astrological chart, I kind of say the south node looks like a little smiley face, and then this looks like an upside down smiley face. Those are the symbols that you're looking for in the astrological chart. So they're very, very important to know about because it kind of shows us, again, sort of karma, destiny. I mean, destiny is a big word, and I want to circle back to that. Where we're meant to head, where we're coming from, what's kind of going on behind the scenes. So when you look at these two, I always tell people you can't look at just one of them. I see a lot of amateur astrologers or beginner astrologers that kind of go, oh, just the north node, because they want to know where they're going and whatever. But you have to always look at them as a pair. It's a set. And it's really highlighting what we call in astrology the axis. This is an axis, okay? So whenever it kind of moves, that's a new axis that it's on. So the axis here is Taurus and Scorpio, and that's where it's where they're going to be residing this coming 2 years. So the nodes of the moon are always as a set in each kind of sign for 18.6 years. So it's almost 20 years. And then they're in each sign. So North Node's going to be in Taurus, and then South Node's going to be in Scorpio for 18 months. So basically, it's almost like a year and a half, roughly. And so it's going to take the North Node of the moon 18 months to go that far. Okay, and that's basically what the deal is. And the same for the South Node of the moon. It's going to take it 18 months. It takes 18 months to go all the way through Scorpio. I'm going to talk about what this means. So basically, when these nodes are kind of working together in a chart and they're going around, they're doing their thing, and again, they move backwards, retrograde, it's really important because they're moving along the ecliptic line. So what this means is that during the next 2 years, and I'm going to give you the exact dates again, you might want to write these down, January 18th, 2022, all the way until July 17th of 2023, these two are going to be in Taurus and Scorpio, okay? So if you are a Taurus, listen up. If you are Scorpio, listen up. But it doesn't matter if you have planets there or not. Obviously, if you're a Taurus and you're a Scorpio, or you have planets in those areas of your chart, that's going to even be stronger for you because they're going to be hitting those planets as they go by. However, you don't have to actually have planets in an area for them to affect you, because everybody has Taurus, and everybody, this is again an example of the astrological chart today. I just wanted to pull it up using it as an example. In fact, there's no planets right now in Scorpio, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to be feeling this because it's going to be in a house somewhere in your astrological chart. So I'm teaching a little bit here about the mechanics of it, but I want to get into the interpretation stuff and what everybody wants to know about, right? Like what's happening and what's going to go on. So we always have to kind of look, in astrology, we look backwards to sort of see what happened in these dates and these time frames in my life or in political life to know what's going to happen now. Like we get a little preview or a little clue because these cycles build upon each other. Now, if they happen once every 18.6 years, it only happens a few times in a lifetime where they kind of return to these areas and highlight and bring up things in these areas. So that's very, very important for us to remember and keep in mind. And what this also means is that now all of the eclipses for the next 2 years from now until July of 2023, all the eclipses are going to be in Taurus, Scorpio, Taurus, Scorpio, Taurus, Scorpio. So there's going to be a lot of change and transformation with those two signs or in those two areas of your astrological birth chart. So it's very important when we talk about the nodes of the moon. Now, the north node of the moon, I always say, if you have trouble remembering the difference between the north and the south, by the way, they're also called, the north node of the moon is also nicknamed the dragon's head, and then the south node is the dragon's tail. So if you think about the head, right? The head is where you're headed. Where are you going? I always say the north node of the moon is like the North Star. You can follow the North Star and you will know where to go or how to get there. That's my little nickname for it so that people can remember the difference between the two. And if you think about north, right? You're up above. But the south node, which is down, underneath the dragon's tail, is where we came from. But it's not only where we came from this lifetime, potentially in our personal past, past history or past lessons, but it's also past lives. So there's a belief, that we carry our lessons and carry different things with us through different lifetimes. Not just lessons, but blessings too. We can't forget about karmic blessings. You put a bunch of good karma in your karma account, well, you can cash out on a karmic thing too during these times. It doesn't always have to be bad, like karmic, people all the time say to me, well, oh, it's karma, like it's bad, because we tend to use that in our language. But no, karma can be very good, actually. Let's say you, I don't know, donate money to charities, and you give your time to different causes. Well, that's all good karma in your karma account, and you can cash out on the good karma too. But it's karmic nevertheless. And so sometimes nodal astrology can be kind of harsh, and then sometimes it's really wonderful. It is said, and there is sort of a belief, that the North Node, again the dragon's head, is more fortuitous, or a little bit more positive, or a little bit more easier. That's where your blessings are coming in, where the South Node, the dragon's tail, is kind of like the problem stuff, or the stuff that is hard, and or you're bringing in from a past life, which may or may not be fun. I mean, I always say past lives are good unless if you kind of like shot each other in the foot, or did some kind of thing, and then basically that can be a difficult life lesson coming in. But they always move in tandem, so it's kind of like to be continued. We're going to be picking up where we left off on this, either from your personal past or from a past lifetime. So I hope that that kind of clarifies the difference between the North and the South nodes of the moon. And so it's very important. We're moving forward in Taurus. That's a good thing, okay? We've been having some real problems in Taurus, and specifically the big problem that we've been having in Taurus is the planet of Uranus has been in Taurus for all this, the past couple of years. So this is the symbol for Taurus, and again, this is the astrological chart. So Taurus and the South Node of the Moon are both going to be in there. That's financial stuff. That is goods. We've been talking about the goods and the shortages and the, material things. That's all Taurus stuff, okay? And so having the North Node of the Moon there means we're going to start to head in this direction of how do we clean this up, and how do we kind of, get our safety and security back, okay? I mean, that's kind of basically the thing, because Uranus is offering instability in that area. I always say Uranus is going to be unstable or a destabilizer wherever it is, and that's going to be in Taurus probably for, I'm eyeballing it because I don't have my book in front of me, but it's probably going to be another 5 years or so that Uranus is going to take that long to go through Taurus. This is a 5-year period of time. So the good news is now we're going to have a little help. The North Node of the Moon is like, and again, I use that word destiny. When I say this in readings, I always preface, I'm going to say a big word to you, destiny. And the person goes, oh, oh, the destiny, oh my God. So what comes to mind? Like, I don't know, being an adventurer, an astronaut, an explorer, Ponce de Leon. I don't know what comes to people's mind when you say destiny. You think such big things. However, it might be your destiny to stay at home with your family. It might be your destiny at that time, the transiting nodes, to go to work, or to get yourself financially secure, or to find yourself a spouse or a partner. Whatever that destiny is might not be that big. I mean, you think of destiny as this big word, that we're going to go out and slay some dragons and capture, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to get a bag of gold or something. No, destiny, I always say when we look at that, it's our little corner of the world. Like, what is the destiny in our life? Well, maybe it's to, do something in our personal life that it just means that we are meant to do this at this time in life. That's the destiny. So sometimes it's not that big of a huge honking big thing, and then sometimes it's a really big thing. So it just depends on, again, what's going on in your personal chart. But I want to give you some other dates of when these have kind of gone through this particular area or this particular axis, so that you can kind of go back in time and think to yourself, oh, I was doing this or this or this back then, and this and this and this happened. And that way it can help you to sort of predict in your own chart what's going to be happening. So you don't even have to look at a chart in order to know your own birth chart, you can, of course, seeing the houses really helps a lot. I'll just say that. But if you don't have access to that, or you don't have an interest in that, you can think back to the dates. Oh, this or this happened. And usually there's going to be some big occurrences that kind of occurred. Okay, so the last time this happened in this way, where the north node of the moon was in Taurus and the south node of the moon was in Scorpio, was back in April of 2003 until December of 2004. So if you think back to what you were doing in that time, this is the exact same layout, the same deal, north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio. The time before that was in September of 1984 all the way until April of 1986. Taurus, again, was the north node, Scorpio was the south node. And so those are the two other time frames in recent history, that going back, that roughly that the nodes were in, or exactly when the nodes were in those particular areas of your chart, and they would be highlighting similar things. Okay. So if you, I'm going to use my own self as an example, just so that you guys can like really see how this kind of plays out. Back in that time of like 84 to 86, and I'm going to be sharing with you. I was roughly, I think 15 or 14, something like that. I didn't do the math, but, and the north node of the moon was in Taurus, south node of the moon was Scorpio. So Scorpio in my chart is home and family. And then in the north node is in my area of career. Again, home and family and career, 4th house and 10th house are opposite from each other, okay? But they actually kind of work in tandem again. So basically, the south node of the moon being in Scorpio, home and family, I had a disruption going on, and it was actually when my father and my mother got divorced and moved out of the house. And so home and family for me completely changed. South node of the moon, right? Completely changed. However, it was something that kind of needed to happen. It was not a good situation in life, and it needed to happen. And so basically, also too, I should mention this, that north node of the moon, some people say is our consciousness, like what we, more, and then the south node is more subconscious or unconscious. So again, that's kind of more shadow work. The south node, it's past life, all that kind of stuff can be shadow work, where that north node is where do you need to put your effort and energy when you're 14, 15, 16 years old. You need to put your energy towards school, right? So that was my north node of the moon, was saying school, which is also career. For a 15-year-old, that is your career, is school. So going forward in time, 2003 to 2004, I actually had one of the best, if I think about it, financial times of my life. And I was actually at that time selling real estate for a living, and I was doing quite well. I was quite abundant, but what it did was it afforded me the opportunity to change where I lived. And so again, Scorpio being in my area of home and family, I decided to move to the state where I live in now, which is Vermont. And what afforded me the opportunity to do that was my career, okay? And I changed my home and I changed my career in that time frame, all in one. I stayed a real estate agent, but obviously I had to get a new job in a new state because I relocated. So again, the past life and the destiny life, it was all intertwined. They're all intertwined. These two things are always intertwined. And so now, I'm excited to see what's going to be happening now. But the north node of the moon, and south node of the moon, again, highlighting that Taurus and Scorpio in your chart. So if you are an earth sign, being Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you're going to all be feeling this energy because it's going to be highlighting an earth sign, the north node of the moon. And then the south node of the moon is highlighting water signs. So Scorpio, for example, and then also Cancer, and then also Pisces, you guys will be feeling the South Node. But you'll be feeling more of that sort of shadow side, the past life side, the karmic side, the stuff that kind of needs to change. Now, here's the thing. When I decided to move to Vermont, I had vacationed as a child in New England, throughout New England, and it was my dream to live in a New England area. And kind of, so again, that was from my past, And I've also been told in a reading with another reader that I actually had a past life in Vermont, and I would believe that because Vermont and myself has a very special connection. So again, the South Node of the Moon was unconsciously pushing me, to move to the area where you love, where you're happy. And then, of course, I had to get a job. I had to be in a career and do all that type of stuff, which was the North Node of the Moon. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a layout for what was going on. Now, I also want to kind of look at what happened 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, roughly 10 years ago, between August 2012 and February 2014, it was the opposite. The North Node of the Moon was in Scorpio, and the South Node of the Moon was in Taurus at that time. So the consciousness, what you're going to do in this lifetime was in the 4th house of home and family, and then the South Node of Taurus was the past life, type stuff. And that was also, so highlighting the same area, just in a different way, the North and the South Node. But still, there was something that happened in my home and family region that was a big, thing, and an upheaval in my life at that time. Wasn't quite as fun and happy for me, because that was, kind of a shadowy time for me. But again, during that time, it was highlighting that career versus home and family. And I also left real estate during that time. I decided to no longer have my real estate license in that time frame. So again, that was highlighting that area of my chart. So both home and family and both career were highlighted, even though the order of the nodes of the moon were reversed, because again, one affects the other. So don't get too caught up on, well, the North Node strictly is this destiny thing, in the South Node, because who cares? They're both highlighted, and one is going to feed into the other one. It's not going to be this or this. It's this and this. And then, so the other time that Scorpio and Taurus were activated with the North Node of the Moon in Scorpio and the South Node of the Moon in Taurus was February of 1994 until July of 1995. Okay, so I wanted you to kind of give, because all of those dates and all of those times that I'm giving you are times in life where this axis, these two areas of your chart, or these two houses in your chart, were highlighted, both but one time the direction was different. One time the South Node was here, North Node was here, and vice versa. So I just want to let you know that that's basically the dates and the times and what's taking place and all the different things in life. But when we look at our own chart, we want to say, what is our destiny? Where are we headed? Now, of course, we have these nodes of our moon in our astrological birth chart permanently, and that was when, at the time we were born. And so in order to know that, you'd have to, again, either look it up online or get a reading done or something in order to find that out, and how that affects you for your lifelong lesson. And we all have life lessons. We all have these lifelong lessons that happen, and it's quite fascinating. So I hope that helps everybody. And then I wanted to also give you the dates of 2022's eclipses, because again, like I hinted in the early part of the recording, that these nodes are going to be falling on the ecliptic line, which is basically what determines what sign each eclipse is in. So there's no mystery there. We will know that all throughout 2022, the eclipses are going to be either in these two signs. So the first one of 2022, the eclipse, is going to be on April 30th, 2022, that's going to be a new moon solar eclipse. So you might want to write that date down because, again, eclipses are powerful transformation. And so if you think about eclipse, 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 eclipse in this one spot, you know, when we're looking at Taurus, that one spot, new moon, eclipse, Tauruses are just getting hammered, and again, so are Scorpios. Now, Joe Biden is a Scorpio. We've talked about Joe Biden. Joe Biden himself is a Scorpio, so he's going to have a lot of transformation coming up for him this year, which is going to directly affect him because if I remember correctly, he has like 4 planets in Scorpio. He has a lot of Scorpio in his chart, and so there's going to be a lot of change, and it's going to be possibly a very difficult year for him because all these eclipses are going to be kind of on him, and it's make a change, make a change, make a change. And you know, change sometimes is wonderful when we choose it, and can be very hard when it's thrusted upon us. And sometimes these eclipses can thrust you into a change cycle that sometimes you don't like, sometimes it's wonderful. You know, sometimes it can be transformative in a really positive way and amazing. So you just want to kind of, you know, I always say, again, astrology is very paradoxical. Astrology, I always say, this is either going to be your superpower or your kryptonite, okay? And so it's make or break you, but with these eclipses, it's going to be very, like, driving us in these 2 areas. So the next eclipse is going to be May 16th, 2022. That's a total full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Okay. 2022 is unusual where we have 2 total lunar eclipses in this year, and they're both going to be visible from North America, which is really exciting. And the next time that's going to happen is actually 2025. So this is a little unusual that we're having 2 total lunar eclipses in one year. So the next date that you want to write down is October 25th of 2022, and that's going to be a solar eclipse again in Scorpio. So Joe Biden, you know, he's going to have those May 16th and October 25th. He's going to both have those 2 eclipses in his chart, and that definitely affects us in the United States. You know, when the president is affected, it does affect us, you know, on some level. And then the last eclipse, which is the total lunar eclipse again, is on November 8th of 2022, and that's also historically going to be one of the longest eclipses, like, since 1440. Okay, I mean, really, it's going to be, I can't remember, but it's going to be like almost 2 hours long. It's going to be a really long eclipse, and it's going to be a total eclipse. So that's newsworthy. You want to put that on your calendar if you're still watching. And by the way, if you're still watching, write total eclipse November 2022 on the comments below so that I know that you're still watching, because I'd love to see your comments. And so we have those 4 dates: Taurus, Scorpio, Scorpio, Taurus. Okay, so 4 dates of eclipses, and that's going to be very powerful for us. And again, knowing where these fall within your own astrological chart is really, really helpful, because that will help you. Now, again, if you're a Taurus or an earth sign, you're going to be right at ground zero of this. Or if you're Scorpio or a water sign, you're right at ground zero of that as well. Ground zero meaning like you're getting hit the, like, unabashed fullness of those things are going to be right up in your stuff. Or it's good to know, like I said, what house it's in, and then that way you'll know where all these eclipses are going to be affecting you. It's either going to be Scorpio or it's going to be Taurus, but where in your chart, okay? And then that's how you'll know how it's going to affect you on a personal level. So I hope that helps, but I feel like, again, Taurus is the goods, is security, is monetary, and we can see big changes this year I mean, we're already hearing the feds are talking about raising interest rates, and we're seeing inflation, and we're seeing all these things happening with the Taurus thing. And then Scorpio is the mystery of life. So Taurus, I always say, is see it, feel it, hear it, touch it, smell it. You know, it's like kind of like the physical, you know, like money, you know, you want to like physically touch it. Where Scorpio is more about the mystery. It's more about the depth, the meaning, the psychology, the puzzle of it, the mystery. All of that stuff is very scorpionic. And so we might want to analyze and think about it. Where Taurus is like, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. But Scorpio is kind of like, is it really a duck? You know? Scorpio likes to question things, okay? So we're going to have both of those. And again, they seem opposite, but really, if you think about it, they're on a continuum. Opposites are always on a continuum. One's over here and one's over here, but it's the same sort of line, right? Is it physical or non-physical? Can you touch it, feel it, smell it? Or is it something more ethereal and magical and different? You know, these two are actually on the same, line. And so we just have the extremes that are kind of being, sort of played with and highlighted. So I hope that that helps. But I see many people come to me with nodes of the moon that are highlighted with soulmates, with best friends, with life partners. In other words, the nodes of the moon, either the north node or the south node. I've seen it both. Definitely south node again has that connotation of past life for sure. But maybe in a past life you made an arrangement with another soul or a person to come into this lifetime and finish out something. So oftentimes people who get married, I'll see them have north node of the moon, like they're meant to kind of get married in this life and to come together. I see all kinds of karmic relationships, in other words, with nodes of the moon being highlighted and being activated in a person's chart. So anyway, I hope that helps. Welcome to 2022, going into all the way into 2023. And if you would like to have a personalized astrological session in your for your birth chart and what this means for you specifically, please go ahead and send me a text message or a message in the comments below. And I'd love to hear from you. So again, happy nodal change in Taurus and Scorpio. Have a great day.